Imagine a world untouched by human hands, a world without maps, without cities, without even the written word. The land stretches endlessly, wild and unmarked, where every sunrise brings a new beginning and every sunset closes a day of survival. There are no boundaries, no nations, no stories carved in stone. The earth is raw, mysterious, and full of danger. Survival is not just a challenge, it is the only law that matters. The air is thick with the scent of rain-soaked earth and blooming wildflowers, while the distant calls of unknown creatures echo through the valleys and forests. On the vast African savanna our story began, not with mighty kings or grand civilizations, but with small, vulnerable bands of hominins. These early humans lived by instinct and necessity, their lives shaped by the rhythms of the land and the ever-present threat of hunger and predators. Each day they awoke to the golden light spilling across the grasslands, the air alive with the rustle of tall grasses and the distant thunder of hooves. They were not the rulers of their world, but fragile beings, sharing the wilderness with towering mammoths, fierce saber-toothed cats and giant bears. Every day they walked in the shadow of creatures far more powerful than themselves. The ground trembled beneath the weight of passing herds, and the night was pierced by the roars and howls of predators on the hunt. Yet within these small groups a spark was kindling, an emerging ingenuity, a capacity for cooperation, and a drive to adapt. They began to share knowledge, to work together, and to invent simple tools that would one day set them apart from every other creature on Earth. Around the fire they exchanged silent glances and gestures, learning from one another, forging bonds that would help them endure the harshest trials. Every sound in the grass, every scent on the wind, every shifting shadow was a clue for survival. Their senses were their lifeline, finely tuned to the world around them, alert to every sign of danger or opportunity. The snap of a twig could mean a stalking predator, while the distant call of birds might signal the approach of rain or the presence of water. Life was lived entirely in the present. Find food, find shelter, protect the young. There was no time to dream of the future or dwell on the past. Each day brought new challenges: the search for edible roots and berries, the careful tracking of game, the construction of shelters from branches and hides. Every member of the group had a role to play in the struggle to survive. From the youngest child learning to listen for danger, to the elders passing on hard-won wisdom. There were no grand plans, no monuments or written records, just the daily challenge of staying alive, of making it through another night and waking to face the unknown once more. The world was a maze of obstacles, swollen rivers to cross, dense forests to navigate, and sudden storms that could turn the land into a sea of mud. Their resilience was extraordinary. Against all odds they endured, adapting to shifting climates, scarce resources, and relentless predators. Their existence was a testament to the power of adaptation and the will to survive. When drought withered the land, they searched for hidden springs. When cold winds swept the plains, they huddled together for warmth, sharing the heat of their bodies and the comfort of their presence. The wild was both their adversary and their teacher. Every encounter with nature, whether dangerous or bountiful, offered lessons that shaped their understanding of the world and their place within it. They watched the animals, learning which berries were safe to eat, which tracks led to water, and how to move silently through the undergrowth. Each day tested their ability to listen, to learn, and to endure. They watched the animals, learned the patterns of the seasons, and slowly, over generations, began to master the skills that would ensure their survival. The crackle of fire, the sharp edge of a flint blade, the arc of a thrown spear, each was a small victory in the ongoing battle against the elements. Theirs was a life of both simplicity and complexity, simple in its focus on survival, yet complex in the web of relationships, skills, and knowledge that grew with each passing generation. Nature's relentless demands shaped every aspect of their existence, forging a deep connection between people and the land that sustained them. The story of how they met these challenges day after day is the story of us all. It is a story of courage, of ingenuity, and of the unbreakable human spirit. Through hardship and loss, they found strength in one another, forging the bonds that would one day shape families, tribes, and entire civilizations. This is where our journey begins, at the dawn of humanity, in a world unwritten, where every step forward was a leap into the unknown. The land before us is vast and mysterious, waiting to be explored, shaped, and understood. And so, with courage and hope, the first humans set out, writing the earliest chapters of our shared story with every footstep upon the earth. For our ancestors, every day was a battle against hunger and uncertainty. As the first rays of sunlight crept across the savannah, families stirred from their makeshift shelters, their stomachs already aching with need. The world around them was vast and wild, filled with both promise and peril. Would today bring a bounty, or would they go to sleep with empty bellies once again? The struggle for sustenance was the heartbeat of their existence, shaping every decision, every step, every hope. Foraging was a daily ritual, demanding sharp eyes and sharper memories. Men, women, and children fanned out across the landscape, searching for roots hidden beneath the soil, berries glistening in the undergrowth, and seeds scattered by the wind. Each plant was a puzzle, some nourished, others poisoned. Through generations of trial and error, they built a mental encyclopedia of the land, passing down hard-won knowledge in whispered warnings and careful instruction. A single mistake could mean sickness or death, but a new discovery could feed the group for days. Scavenging demanded courage and cunning. When the distant roar of a predator faded, our ancestors crept toward abandoned carcasses, eyes darting for danger. With rocks and primitive tools, they cracked open bones to reach the rich marrow within, a rare and precious source of fat and protein. They watched the skies for circling vultures, reading the signs of opportunity and risk. Every mouthful was won through vigilance and teamwork, as the threat of returning predators or rival scavengers was ever present. As their minds sharpened, hunting became a test of ingenuity and resolve. Groups gathered in hushed circles, planning their approach with gestures and quiet words. They studied the tracks of antelope and the patterns of migrating herds, learning to anticipate where prey would drink or rest. Armed with sharpened sticks and stone-tipped spears, they moved as one. Silent, patient, relentless. The hunt could last hours or even days, demanding endurance and trust. A single misstep could scatter the prey or invite disaster, but a successful hunt brought celebration and relief. The preparation of food was an act of transformation and survival. Around the fire, meat was roasted, roots were softened, and bitter plants were made edible. The crackle of flames and the scent of cooking drew the group together, their faces lit by firelight and hope. Cooking unlocked vital nutrients, fueling growing brains and bodies. Meals were shared not just for nourishment, but to strengthen the bonds of kinship and trust. In these moments, laughter and stories mingled with the smoke, weaving the fabric of early human society. Shelter was as vital as food. Caves, overhangs, and dense thickets offered protection from prowling beasts and the biting cold. The search for a safe haven was constant, especially with children or injured members to protect. Sometimes they fortified their shelters with branches and stones, using ingenuity to keep out the wind and rain. The night brought new dangers, but together they found comfort in numbers and in the warmth of shared bodies. These shelters were more than just protection. They were sanctuaries of community. Here, wounds were tended, plans were made, and stories were told. The elders recounted tales of past hunts and narrow escapes, teaching the young through vivid storytelling. In these shared spaces, the sense of belonging deepened, and the wisdom of survival was passed from one generation to the next. Choosing where to rest was a decision fraught with consequence. The wrong choice could mean exposure to predators or the elements. Families weighed the risks, relying on experience and intuition. The need to protect one another from the cold, from storms, and from prowling beasts brought them closer, forging the earliest forms of cooperation and mutual care. Every day was a tapestry of shared effort. Some gathered, some hunted, others kept watch or cared for the young. The constant search for resources demanded adaptability and innovation. New tools, new strategies, new ways of working together. Through collaboration, they overcame challenges that would have been insurmountable alone. Survival depended on the sharing of knowledge and skills. The wise taught the young how to find water, how to track animals, how to craft tools from stone and bone. Each lesson was a gift, a thread in the tapestry of survival. Those who learned, adapted, and worked together were the ones who endured and who passed their wisdom onward. In the flickering glow of the fire, the struggle for sustenance became more than a fight for survival. It became the crucible in which humanity was forged. Through hunger and hope, ingenuity and perseverance, our ancestors laid the foundations of community, culture, and the enduring human spirit. The first time a stone was shaped for a purpose, humanity's destiny changed. With each careful strike, early humans unlocked new possibilities, forging a path that would forever set us apart from other creatures. Oldowan tools, simple, sharp-edged stones, became extensions of the human hand. These tools sliced hides, butchered meat, and cracked bones, opening new food sources like nutrient-rich marrow. Each innovation was a response to the challenges of survival, from scavenging to hunting. As climates shifted and landscapes changed, humans adapted. Over time, tools evolved. Herculean hand axes showed planning and symmetry, a leap in cognition. These versatile tools allowed our ancestors to process tougher foods, build shelters, and defend themselves. Tool-making required foresight and skill, passed down through imitation and teaching. Around the fire, generations learned to select the right stones, to shape and sharpen, to solve problems together. This sharing of knowledge strengthened bonds and sparked creativity. Making tools shaped our minds as much as our hands. The need to adapt to new environments, whether dense forests or open savannas, drove the evolution of problem-solving skills. Each generation refined techniques, inventing new ways to survive and thrive. We didn't just make tools, tools made us. They transformed diets, fueled brain growth, and honed motor skills. The story of tools is the story of becoming human, of learning, adapting, and shaping our own destiny. This innovation set us apart, laying the foundation for everything to come. Through ingenuity and adaptation, prehistoric humans shaped not only their tools, but the very course of human evolution. Few breakthroughs rival the control of fire. For early humans, the discovery of fire was not a single moment, but a gradual process, one of observation, experimentation, and persistence. At first, fire was a wild force. Lightning strikes or volcanic eruptions would spark blazes, and our ancestors learned to harvest these flames, carefully transporting embers to their shelters. Over generations, humans mastered the art of creating fire themselves, rubbing sticks together, striking flint against stone, and coaxing sparks into flame. This skill became a rite of passage, passed from elders to youth. Maintaining fire was just as crucial. Early humans learned to feed it with dry wood, shield it from rain and wind, and keep embers alive through the night. Fire became the heart of the human camp, providing warmth, safety, and a gathering place. Fire transformed survival. It hardened spears and tools, cleared landscapes for hunting, and extended the day with light. It turned night from a time of fear into a time for community. Fire protected against predators lurking in the dark and shielded us from the cold, enabling humans to expand into harsh, unfamiliar environments. Around the fireside, stories were told, skills were taught, and bonds were forged. Fire became the center of social life, a place where knowledge and culture were passed down through generations. Cooking food over fire unlocked more nutrients, making us healthier and fueling our growing brains. Fire was more than a tool. It was a force that shaped our evolution. Mastering fire marked a new era of human ingenuity. It was a skill that united communities and set us apart from every other creature on Earth. The taming of fire was a glowing testament to our growing mastery of the world, a spark that ignited the journey of humanity. In the flickering glow of firelight, prehistoric humans gathered close, drawn together not just by warmth but by the need for connection. Around these ancient hearths, the first threads of society were spun. As language blossomed, it became the spark that ignited the mind. Early humans learned to share ideas, warn of dangers, and coordinate hunts. Through gestures, sounds, and eventually words, they built a foundation for trust and teamwork. Elders told stories, tales of great hunts, lessons learned, and spirits unseen. These stories were more than entertainment. They were the glue that bound generations, passing down wisdom and forging a shared identity. Skills were taught from hand to hand, mind to mind. Children watched, learned, and practiced, each generation building on the knowledge of those before. This flow of information accelerated progress, allowing groups to adapt and thrive. Cooperation became the heartbeat of survival. Sharing food, dividing tasks, and celebrating together, early humans formed tight-knit groups where every member had a role. Trust and reciprocity grew as people exchanged gifts, helped build shelters, and supported one another in times of need. These acts of kindness and fairness became the unwritten rules of their communities. Like the weaving of plant fibers into strong rope, language and cooperation intertwined lives. The social fabric of prehistoric society was crafted. one story, one gesture, one act of trust at a time. Our ancestors lived in constant danger, surrounded by powerful predators lurking in the shadows. Every day was a test of survival, where a single mistake could mean the difference between life and death. The forests and plains were filled with threats: saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and other formidable beasts. Imagine the chilling moment when a saber-toothed cat's growl echoed through the trees, or the tense silence as a pack of dire wolves stalked the edge of a campfire's glow. They were prey before they were hunters, forced to be vigilant and cooperative. Fear was a constant companion, shaping their every move and decision. When danger approached, they relied on sharp eyes and sharper instincts, listening for the snap of a twig, the rustle of fur in the undergrowth. Group living offered safety, lookouts, defensive formations, and shared alarms. By banding together, they increased their chances of spotting danger early and responding as one. Some would throw stones or brandish torches, while others created loud noises to scare off attackers. The tribe's survival depended on every member playing their part. This need for collective defense strengthened social bonds and cooperation. Working together, they built shelters, shared food, and protected one another from harm. At night, fires were kept burning to ward off prowling beasts, and stories of past encounters were shared to teach the young how to survive. Beyond predators, the world itself was unstable: ice ages, shifting climates, and changing landscapes. The environment was unpredictable, with glaciers advancing and retreating and weather patterns shifting dramatically. Torrential rains could turn grasslands into swamps overnight, while sudden freezes threatened to wipe out entire herds of prey. Survival demanded adaptability above all else. Only those who could adjust to new challenges, whether it was a sudden freeze or a drought, could hope to endure. They learned to track migrating animals, store food for lean times, and invent new tools to hunt or defend against threats. Groups that innovated and moved with the changing world survived, others vanished. Migration became a way of life as people sought out new lands and resources. Rivers, mountains, and deserts became both obstacles and opportunities, shaping the routes of human journeys. Humans became the ultimate generalists, thriving from tundra to tropics. Our species learned to make a home in icy wastelands, dense forests, arid deserts, and lush grasslands. Each new environment brought fresh dangers and opportunities, demanding new skills and knowledge. Our ability to create tools, adapt strategies, and share knowledge was our edge. Teaching and learning became essential, passing down wisdom from one generation to the next. The lessons of survival, how to track a predator, build a shelter, or find water, became the foundation of human culture. The struggle against predators and climate forged our resilience. Each hardship made us stronger, more resourceful, and better prepared for the unknown. Every close call, every narrow escape added to the collective memory of the tribe. Adaptability became our greatest inheritance, a trait that would define humanity for millennia to come. The ability to innovate, to learn from mistakes, and to face new dangers head-on set us apart from every other creature. The world's challenges made us who we are: resilient, inventive, and always ready to face the next horizon. Through every encounter with danger and every shift in the world around us, we learn to survive and to thrive. Around 50,000 years ago, a profound transformation swept through humanity, a cognitive revolution that forever changed the course of our species. Suddenly, the world was alive with innovation and creativity. Our ancestors began to paint vivid stories on cave walls, carve intricate jewelry, and shape specialized tools. These were not just objects, they were expressions of imagination and identity. Tools became more diverse and efficient, crafted from stone, bone, and ivory. For the first time, people planned ahead, designing weapons for specific animals, sewing tailored clothing, and preparing for the changing seasons. Long-distance trade and alliances connected distant groups, strengthening survival. These new social networks allowed ideas, resources, and stories to travel farther than ever before. Elaborate burials and symbolic art revealed new ways of thinking about life and death. Our ancestors began to imagine worlds beyond the visible, honoring their dead with rituals and symbols that spoke of hope, memory, and meaning. This leap marked the birth of the modern human mind, capable of abstract thought, imagination, and complex language. Around the fire, stories were shared, plans were made, and dreams took flight. We began to ask, who are we? What is our purpose? The night sky became a canvas for questions, myths, and the first sparks of philosophy. The Great Leap Forward was not just about tools, but the awakening of the human spirit. Creativity flourished in music, dance, and ritual, binding communities together in shared wonder. It was the dawn of true humanity, a time when our minds reached beyond survival, and the first light of creativity and connection illuminated our path forward. Deep in ancient caves, our ancestors painted animals and symbols, early expressions of imagination and meaning. With flickering torchlight, they mixed ochre and charcoal, carefully applying color to stone. These images were not just decorations, but powerful stories, depictions of the animals they hunted, the spirits they revered, and the mysteries of their world. These artworks, hidden in darkness, were likely part of rituals and storytelling. In the glow of firelight, groups gathered to share myths, pass down knowledge, and connect with unseen forces. Rituals, dances, chants, and offerings helped early humans make sense of life, death, and the changing seasons. Creativity extended to personal adornment. Beads, figurines, and ornaments signaled identity and status. These objects were more than decoration. They carried meaning, marking important moments, alliances, or beliefs. The famous Venus figurines, for example, may have represented fertility, hope, or the power of creation. Symbolic thought allowed objects to represent ideas, binding groups together. Sharing these symbols, through gifts, rituals, or teaching, helped create a sense of belonging and trust, uniting people across generations. Art and ornament showed minds focused on more than survival, on beauty, belief, and belonging. The urge to create and share meaning became a vital part of human life, shaping how people saw themselves and their place in the world. Shared symbols and language created a powerful sense of culture. As language developed, people could express complex ideas, tell stories, and pass on wisdom. Gestures, markings, and spoken words became the threads that wove communities together. This cultural world united people beyond kinship, shaping identity and purpose. Shared beliefs and traditions helped large groups cooperate, celebrate, and mourn together, forging bonds that went far beyond family ties. Art, ritual, and language worked together, weaving a tapestry of meaning. Through dance, song, and story, people explored their hopes, fears, and dreams, creating a shared reality that gave life purpose and direction. The ability to create shared worlds set Homo sapiens apart. Unlike any other species, we built monuments, honored the dead, and imagined realms beyond the visible, evidence of minds capable of deep reflection and connection. Culture became our greatest tool for survival and connection. Through shared beliefs, language, and art, early humans transformed the world around them, laying the foundation for everything that would follow. The journey of our ancestors is our foundation. Their footsteps echo across millennia, reminding us of the strength it took to survive in a world of uncertainty and danger. Their challenges and solutions are etched into our instincts and DNA. Every tool they shaped, every lesson learned, became a thread in the fabric of humanity. Adaptability, not strength, was their key to survival. They faced shifting climates, scarce resources, and unknown dangers, yet found ways to endure and thrive. They innovated, cooperated, and expanded into every environment on Earth. Their curiosity and courage pushed the boundaries of what was possible. This legacy of flexibility and ingenuity is our greatest inheritance. Through teaching and storytelling, they ensured that knowledge and resilience would live on. From fire to language to art, their breakthroughs built the bedrock of civilization. Each discovery was a beacon, lighting the way for those who followed. Our resilience, creativity, and connection are echoes of their story. The bonds they forged in hardship became the roots of community and compassion. We are the children of survivors still writing the next chapter. The enduring spirit of prehistoric humans lives on in us, their courage, adaptability, and hope guiding us as we face the unknown, just as they once did. While resilience was the foundation, it was the mastery of specialized skills that truly set our ancestors apart. In the heart of untamed wilderness, early humans became artisans of survival, innovators who transformed raw necessity into opportunity. Stone, bone, and wood became extensions of their will. Through countless experiments and patient refinement, they shaped blades, scrapers, and points, each tool a testament to ingenuity. The creation of shelters crafted from branches, hides, and earth offered protection from the elements, demonstrating adaptive engineering in the face of nature's unpredictability. Clothing, fashioned from animal skins and plant fibers, was more than mere protection. It was a triumph of resourcefulness, allowing humans to endure freezing nights and scorching days. These skills were not just acts of survival, but expressions of creativity, solutions born from keen observation and relentless problem-solving. Every innovation was a leap forward, empowering communities to thrive where others might falter. The artisans of survival left no blueprint, only the enduring legacy of their craft. Their hands shaped a future where creativity and adaptability were as vital as strength, proving that in the art of survival, imagination was humanity's greatest tool. And long before words were etched in clay or inked on parchment, communication pulsed through the wild in subtler forms. Early humans, scattered across vast landscapes, relied on instinctive gestures and urgent calls, signals that pierced the silence of the hunt or warned of lurking danger. A raised hand, a pointed finger, a shared glance, these were the first threads weaving individuals into a unified group. Over time, these basic cues transformed. Sounds grew more complex, grunts, clicks, and rhythmic patterns, each carrying meaning, each refining the art of collaboration. The birth of proto-languages emerged not in a single moment, but through generations of trial and error, as necessity demanded clarity. With each new sound, early humans shaped the invisible bonds that held their communities together. This evolving language became the backbone of cooperation. It allowed for the sharing of knowledge, where to find water, how to track prey, when to prepare for storms. It turned chaos into order, confusion into strategy. The ability to communicate ideas, plans, and warnings gave our ancestors a crucial edge, transforming scattered bands into coordinated groups. In the language of the wild, every utterance was a tool for survival. With each new word, humanity stepped further from isolation, forging a path toward unity, understanding, and an ever-advancing civilization. Across endless horizons, our ancestors became masters of migration. Guided by instinct and necessity, they embarked on epic journeys, trekking from the sun-baked savannas of Africa through dense forests, arid deserts, and frozen tundras, forging paths into lands unknown. Each step was a testament to their resilience, each crossing a leap into the unpredictable. They faced mountains that scraped the sky, rivers swollen with untamed currents, and climates that shifted from blistering heat to biting cold. Yet these obstacles became crucibles, shaping bodies and minds to adapt, innovate, and endure. The challenges of new terrains demanded fresh solutions, new tools for hunting unfamiliar prey, shelters crafted to withstand unfamiliar storms, and fire kindled to ward off the chill of strange nights. As bands moved ever onward, they carried more than survival skills. They bore stories, discoveries, and hard-won wisdom. Knowledge spread with every footstep, which roots could heal, which tracks led to water, which stars marked the way home. The great migrations wove a living map, a network of trails, campsites, and landmarks etched into the collective memory. Through these odysseys, humanity's reach extended from one continent to the next. The world, once vast and mysterious, became a tapestry of interconnected journeys. The legacy of migration is written in our bones and echoed in the stories of every people, a saga of courage, adaptability, and the unyielding drive to explore beyond the horizon. As the fires of survival warmed the nights and migration charted new worlds, another transformation quietly took root, a spiritual awakening. Within the flickering shadows of prehistoric camps, our ancestors gazed skyward, pondering mysteries greater than themselves. Thunder, eclipses, and the cycles of the moon stirred awe and curiosity, kindling a longing to understand the unseen forces shaping their world. Evidence whispers through time, carefully arranged stones, ochre-painted bones, and burial sites where the departed rest with cherished tools or tokens. These acts suggest a reverence for life beyond death, a belief that existence stretched further than the horizon of the living. Rituals emerged. Rhythmic drumming beneath the stars, dances echoing the heartbeat of the earth, and offerings left at sacred trees or hidden caves. Each gesture, each symbol, became a bridge between the known and the unknowable. In these moments, the search for meaning flourished. The spirits of animals, ancestors, and the land itself were honored and invoked. Stories told around the fire wove a tapestry of myth and memory, guiding choices, easing fears, and binding communities through shared wonder. The spiritual awakening was not merely a quest for answers, it was an embrace of the mysteries that made life precious. Through ritual and reverence, prehistoric humans found solace, purpose, and unity. Their beliefs shaped the rhythms of daily life and echoed through generations, lighting the path from the ancient past to the present day, a testament to humanity's enduring need to seek connection with something greater than themselves. In the unpredictable wilds of prehistory, survival depended not just on the strength of the individual, but on the unity and protection offered by the group. Among our ancestors, certain members rose to become the guardians of the tribe, protectors and leaders who stood at the forefront of danger and decision. These guardians watched the horizon for threats, prowling predators, rival bands, and the shifting moods of nature. They crafted early warning systems, lines of stones, piles of branches, and trails marked with silent signals. When danger loomed, they organized defensive circles, wielding sharpened spears and stone-tipped clubs, their coordinated efforts turning vulnerability into strength. Leadership among prehistoric tribes was shaped by action and wisdom. The most skilled hunters, the sharpest observers, and those with the keenest sense of the land often guided their peers. Decisions were made by consensus, but in moments of crisis, the guardians' voices carried weight. Their experience and courage inspired trust, uniting the group in purpose. Unity was the tribe's greatest shield. Guardians fostered cooperation, ensuring that every member, young or old, played a role in safety and survival. Through shared vigilance and mutual support, the group could withstand adversity, adapt to challenge, and thrive in a world of constant change. The legacy of these protectors and leaders endures in the bonds that tie communities together even today. In their watchfulness and wisdom, the guardians of the tribe became living symbols of resilience, reminding us that true strength is found not in isolation, but in standing together.